Thought we'd hop on here for a quick live update. It's about 5:35 on Thursday, September 12th. I'm James Spann, and we have potential for a few brief isolated tornadoes across parts of central Alabama. And as you've seen through all the platforms, a tornado watch has been issued for a small part of central Alabama. This is a fairly small tornado watch here. This includes Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Bibb, Shelby, Perry, Chilton, Coosa, Dallas, Autauga, Elmore, Lowndes, and Montgomery counties, and that's it until 10 o'clock tonight. And really the main concern over the next couple of hours, once the sun gets down and the air becomes more stable, the tornado threat will likely fade. The main storm of interest is this one that we're watching. This particular thunderstorm is currently located in the northern part of Autauga County. In fact, let me get my box off the screen there. And again, you can see broad rotation. There's no tornado signature here. There is not. A lot of people are looking at it. I've seen photographs of it, and there's no tornado here. This crossed US 82, and it's moving north up into southern Chilton County up toward the community of Enterprise. And that's not Enterprise in Coffee County. That's the community of Enterprise in Chilton County. And we'll watch that carefully. And again, it's really trying to get its act together, but at this point, it hasn't. And again, that particular thunderstorm is moving to the north. We'll animate that, and you can see some higher velocities in it as it crossed US 82. And again, just very broad rotation. There might be some side lobe contamination going on here, but there's just no evidence of a tornado, and there's absolutely no reason to issue a tornado warning at this point. And that is the main storm of interest in terms of rotation. And other than that, the other concern, it's just a whole lot of rain going on here. These tropical rain bands are pretty impressive. In fact, we'll take off the split and let's go to the north. And this batch over the western part of the Birmingham metro, it's really, really, really producing some torrential rain from around Midfield, Fairfield, Hueytown, up toward Adamsville. It's just coming down. Sylvan Springs, Pratt City, places like that. And that's drifting in the general direction of the I-65 corridor in Birmingham. And you don't want to be driving in that. For the folks in the western part of the metro, there could be some flooding issues here. And again, at the moment, downtown Birmingham is dry, but that is drifting to the east, and that could set up shop along I-65. And if that's the case, the rains will be tremendous. These tropical rain bands produce a lot of rain in a very short amount of time. And, of course, this is a feeder band coming into the circulation of former Hurricane Francine, which is now a weakening tropical low that's south of Memphis. So let's kind of expand this out. And if you're north of Birmingham, the air is just too stable for any tornado activity. Cullman, Huntsville, the Shoals, Scottsboro, Gunnersville, any place like that. The air is stable, so we don't expect a tornado problem there this evening. The warm sector is trying to work in from the south, and you need instability. You've got to have that for low-level rotation and tornadoes to form, and we're starting to see a little bit of that. Not much, but a little bit. The best possible case, and this is a very real possibility, we get away the next several hours without a single tornado warning and no tornadoes. That's a very distinct possibility. But again, in this synoptic scale configuration with the tropical low south of Memphis and that unstable air kind of coming up from the south, that does favor maybe the chance of an isolated tornado. And like we've talked about, if we see a tornado in a case like this, they're different. They're not like the ones we see in November. They're not like the ones we see in March or April. They are typically very short-lived. Some of these might be down for 4 or 5 minutes, and they're gone. By the time a warning goes out, they're gone. It's just almost impossible to warn for some of these. And some of them are under the radar, and they can easily strike with no warning at all. So that's why we tell people just to be very weather aware on a day like today. But again, once we get the sun down, the tornado risk will fade. Now, we should mention tomorrow, and again, we've got kind of a similar setup. We have the remnants of Francine just kind of meandering about around Memphis. And Alabama's going to be in a favorable position for the chance of maybe a few brief isolated tornadoes. And whenever we say isolated, that means not many of them, few and far between. Maybe just one or two, if we see any at all. But again, we have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for most of north, central, east, and southeast Alabama tomorrow. And like today, if we see them, it would most likely be during the peak of the daytime heating process in that window from about 3 o'clock until 8 o'clock p.m. And, of course, we have high school football games tomorrow night, and that's something to think about. And, again, clearly there's some chance of showers for those ball games. But, again, the sun going down about 7:30 this time of the year. Hopefully the air should be more stable by the time those games begin. But just keep in mind tomorrow we might see the same situation. So, again, if you're just joining us, I thought I'd hop on here for a quick live update. I can't stay long because for those that don't know, I have a real job. I serve as the chief meteorologist for the ABC TV station in Birmingham, and we have a 6 o'clock newscast that begins shortly, and we invite you to watch. You can watch the live stream if you're out of market. But we've got tropical rain bands pushing northward through parts of central Alabama, and we are here because of the possibility of just maybe a brief tornado somewhere over the next couple of hours. Again, we've got a tornado watch until 10 tonight. Don't think it needs to run that long, but again, we'll see. The watch is in effect for just a handful of counties, not many. Again, Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Bibb, Shelby, Perry, Chilton, Coosa, Dallas, Elmore, Autauga, Lowndes, and Montgomery. And that's it until 10 o'clock. So we'll take a quick radar tour here for a couple of minutes and review the situation. The greatest concern for the Birmingham Metro, it's flooding out here in the western part of the metro. It is just pouring out there toward Sylvan Springs, McDonald Chapel, Edgewater, down toward Fairfield, Midfield, down into the Oxmoor Valley, down to the community of Shannon, then back down toward Highway 150. And again, that heavier rain band is slowly drifting toward the I-65 corridor in downtown Birmingham. And again, there's no evidence of any rotation here. This is just a heavy rain flooding threat for the Birmingham Metro. So let's go down south. And again, the one storm that has been of interest, it's this one in terms of any potential tornado, the one that is now in southern Chilton County. It has been moving through northwest Autauga County. It passed little below Billingsley, and it's kind of coming up toward the community of Enterprise. And again, not the Enterprise in Coffee County in South Alabama. This is the community of Enterprise in Chilton County, not too far from Verbena. And so let's take a look at the velocity display. And again, you just we're not seeing any strong evidence of rotation in here. This is probably a better way of looking at it. This is the SRV, the storm relative velocity. But again, that's very broad. And again, if you issued a warning for every radar signature like that, your false alarm ratio would be 98%, and we just can't have that. One of the things we have to do in the weather enterprise is cut the number of false alarms. We have to do that. We just can't be, trigger happy and issue a warning every time you see some rotation here. And most Weather Service offices are really working hard on that, including Birmingham. Kevin Laws and his team, they've done an amazing job of reducing the false alarm ratio while maintaining the POD, which is the probability of detection. So again, it's not a tornado signature here, but of course we'll keep a close eye on that. It's kind of holding its own. It's still broadly rotating. And again, that's crossing from Autauga up into southern Chilton County. And other than that, we see no evidence of any real trouble spots in terms of rotation here. We've got some pretty good rain that's been coming down in Tuscaloosa. And that rain should be tapering off pretty soon. And again, based on the type of air mass that's brought up with these tropical systems from the Gulf, the precipitable water values are sky high, and they can produce some amazing rain amounts. In fact, I want to say the rain amounts with that band coming up into Birmingham and in the western part of the metro here, 6 inches per hour. Those are the rain rates in association with this. If it just sits there, you're going to get 6 inches of rain in 1 hour. Wow. And again, it looks like the intensities are going downhill a little bit as it approaches downtown Birmingham. But again, be aware if you're going into the western part of Jefferson County, we could easily see some flooding problems there. This is the WPC rain outlook for the next 7 days. And those numbers seem pretty outrageous, but with this type of setup, it could happen. 8 inches for Huntsville, 7 inches for Birmingham. And I mean, when you got rain rates of 6 inches per hour, hey, it's not out of the question. And we're going to see these off and on showers and storms tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday through the weekend. And I want to stress it will not rain all weekend long. We've got football and all kind of stuff that's happening outdoors. There'll be some good breaks in the rain like today. But when the rain comes, it will pour. But on the positive side, we don't expect a tornado threat this weekend or any type of severe storms, just some rain from time to time. And the weather will be trending drier toward the latter half of next week. But certainly if that works out, that'll be quite a beneficial type rain event for the state. But again, tomorrow, just a reminder, now I'm talking about Saturday and Sunday, there's no tornado threat. Tomorrow, we have a low-end marginal risk for much of north, central, east, and southeast Alabama. The counties in darker green on that map, kind of like today during the afternoon and evening hours. There could be a few little spinners going on here. So one more time before we break and go back to the TV side in Studio A across the hall. We got torrential rains falling in the western part of Jefferson County. That could be enough to create some flooding problems there. So keep that in mind. We've got heavy rain in Tuscaloosa beginning to move out with this particular band. And again, very heavy rain in parts of Dallas, Autauga, and Chilton counties, just pouring in Clanton. And we're watching this particular feature right here. And you kind of see a little inflow notch here that's trying to go. And this thing is just trying to rotate. It really is. But it's just having a hard time. That's the storm relative velocity. And again, that's pretty broad. But we'll keep an eagle eye on that thing as it moves on up into Chilton County. And again, we got a break here. And again, for those that are new here, if we have a tornado warning for the Birmingham TV market, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, if you can watch me on television, that stream is on the ABC 3340 YouTube and Facebook channels, youtube.com/ABC 3340. If it's in a different market, if it's in a different part of the state, Huntsville, Montgomery, Mobile, Dothan market, if I'm live, it's going to be on this, where we are now, the James Spann YouTube channel and Facebook page, youtube.com/James Spann with no spaces. And again, because of the duties I have here, I can't promise I'll be live for everything in other parts of the state, but I do my best to do that. So we'll be here watching carefully. And again, I'm going to cross over into Studio A. We'll see you on ABC 3340 News in a few minutes at 6 o'clock. Y'all have a marvelous evening. Thanks for watching. And the next scheduled video here will be tomorrow morning about 5:15. We'll see you then.